Over 100 Palestinians were killed as they were standing in queue for aid in Northern Gaza. Another 280 people were injured in the incident. Gaza's health authorities says that Israel opened fire on the civilians. Israel says that its troops fired gunshots in the air to disperse a mob which had surrounded the aid trucks. The Israeli army says that the chaos led to a stampede which caused the deaths of Palestinians. Meanwhile, the United Nations has asked for an international probe into the deadly incident. The Yemen-based Houthis say they will launch wider operations in the Red Sea. This would include what the rebel group is calling military surprises. The Houthis said that they have several surprises planned for their enemies. Russian President Vladimir Putin says he's ready for talks with the US. However, Putin added that Russia will not be arm-twisted in negotiations. The Russian president also spoke about misinformation being spread in Western media. He cited the recent accusations made by the White House of Russia deploying nuclear weapons in space. Meanwhile, the State Department says that the US does not have any intel that Russia is preparing to use nuclear weapons. This comes after Putin said the US would provoke a nuclear war if it deployed troops in Ukraine. The White House has reiterated that no US troops would be deployed in Ukraine for either combat or non-combat roles. US President Joe Biden visited the border crossing with Mexico in the state of Texas yesterday. This coincided with former President Donald Trump's visit to the US-Mexico border crossing in Texas. After his visit, Biden urged Trump to support the government in passing a border security bill. The bill aims to speed up the US asylum process in an attempt to prevent illegal border crossings. The Maryland State House was put in a lockdown over an unidentified security threat. Police officials rushed to the scene after they received an anonymous threat via a phone call. Security forces evacuated the building and placed a cordon around it. After a few hours, authorities cleared the scene after finding no signs of suspicious activity. A wave of violence and heavy gunfire erupted in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, yesterday. The armed clashes began after a local gang leader, nicknamed Barbecue, threatened to capture the country's police chief and government officials. The violence forced the shutdown of Haiti's international airport and some local businesses. Hundreds of civilians were seen fleeing their homes after the fighting erupted. At least 43 people were killed after a fire broke out in a 7-story residential building in Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka, last night. Medical officials say that at least 40 people suffered burn injuries. Firefighters managed to douse the flames in 2 hours and rescue 75 people. Dhaka's fire marshal said that the blaze started in a restaurant on the ground floor of the building. The South Korean government says the doctors have refused to return to work. They have now defied the government's deadline to end their mass walkout. The deadline was for yesterday. South Korean Health Ministry officials say that they will not discuss the next steps. However, this could include suspending the licenses of the striking doctors. Meanwhile, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol met Meta Platform CEO Mark Zuckerberg. They discussed the need to increase cooperation on artificial intelligence and digital ecosystems. Zuckerberg told Yoon that Meta's AI technology would pair well with South Korean firms like Samsung, which are known for making smart appliances. The World Health Organization has launched a vaccine drive in the Asian nation of Kazakhstan. This comes after Kazakhstan reported over 13,000 cases of measles last year. Almost 11,000 of the cases were reported among unvaccinated children. The UN body and the Kazakh government have also launched an awareness program to combat misinformation regarding vaccines. The Central American nation of Panama has seized 5 tons of illicit drugs. Panama officials say the substances were found in a banana shipping container which was to be sent to Spain. Authorities have seized 19 tons of drugs across various Panama seaports so far this year. Researchers in the Amazon rainforest have discovered a new species of the world's largest snake called the green anaconda. The discovery happened in Ecuador's part of the Amazon. Researchers estimate the snake to be 26 feet in length, weighing over 200 kilograms. In climate news, a wildfire has killed at least 2 people in the U.S. state of Texas. The blaze has torched more than 404,000 hectares of land, making it the largest ever wildfire in Texas. The flames have crossed into the neighboring state of Oklahoma, destroying over a dozen homes. American fire officials have managed to contain only 3% of the fire so far. Atmospheric rivers are eroding coastal cliffs in the U.S. state of California. This weather phenomenon recently brought severe snowstorms to most parts of the state. These storms caused landslides along cliffs, leaving many luxury homes on the verge of collapse. Climate experts are now predicting the destruction of nearly 100 meters of sea cliffs in the near future. The island of Sicily in southern Italy is grappling with a severe drought. This comes as the region is experiencing its hottest winter in 60 years. The lack of rainfall has caused water resources to decline by 80% in the city of Agrigento. Sicily's regional government has declared a state of emergency in view of the drought. Wildfires in Australia's Tasmania Island are threatening some of the world's tallest flowering trees. Dry conditions in Tasmania's forests have led to some disastrous bushfires in recent years. Scientists say Tasmania has lost 17 of its largest trees to bushfires since 2003. February 2024 is likely to be the hottest February ever recorded. This is according to data from the American National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Scientists say climate change and the El Niño weather pattern have increased temperatures around the world. They added that the last 10 years have been the warmest on record. About 90% of the Himalayan region could witness drought if global temperatures rise by 3 degrees Celsius. This is according to a study by the UK-based University of East Anglia. The study says that droughts in the Himalayas could go on for more than a year. However, scientists say India can limit its heat stress if it adheres to the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement's temperature goals. Waste around the world will likely surge by 2050. This concern has been raised in a recent report by the United Nations. It says excessive waste generation will cause biodiversity loss, climate change, and deadly pollution. Researchers say fast-growing economies in Asia and Africa need urgent measures for waste management. On to business and tech news. The US market regulator, the Securities and Exchange Commission, is reportedly investigating ChatGPT maker OpenAI for misleading investors. The SEC is scrutinizing internal communications by company CEO Sam Altman. The report says that it is not clear which specific statement or communication by Altman the regulator deems misleading. However, the probe follows the dramatic removal of Altman by the firm's board in November last year, which was later overturned. Boeing has agreed to a $51 million settlement with the U.S. State Department. The settlement covers multiple violations by the plane maker. This includes one case where the firm's Chinese employees accessed U.S. defense program documents. The U.S. State Department said that the Chinese employees at Boeing's China facilities downloaded the technical data of programs like the F-15, F-18, and F-22 fighter jets. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has reportedly found problems at Elon Musk's brain chip firm Neuralink. Quality control lapses were found at the company's California animal research facility. FDA officials inspected the facility in June last year. The agency's adverse report comes weeks after the firm implanted its first brain chip in a human. A forest close to Tesla's factory in Germany's Grünheide has been occupied by environmental activists. They're blocking the electric vehicle maker's factory expansion plans. Around 100 protesters have erected wooden platforms and tree houses in the forest. Tesla plans to expand its German factory by 170 hectares to boost production. This requires the raising of hundreds of trees in the area. Meanwhile, a court in the U.S. state of California has ruled that around 6,000 black factory workers can collectively sue Tesla. The firm allegedly failed to address widespread race discrimination and harassment at its Fremont plant. The lawsuit claimed that black workers faced racist slurs and graffiti at their workstations in Fremont. The court said that the lawsuit raised questions about whether Tesla was aware of the alleged misconduct and failed to prevent it. The US is launching an investigation into cars imported from China. The government is looking into car technologies to see if they pose national security risks. Yesterday, the White House said that the Chinese cars collect large amounts of sensitive data using their cameras and sensors. US President Joe Biden stated that Chinese vehicles are posing risks to America's national security. The U.S. banking giant Citigroup is laying off 286 employees in New York. The layoffs will affect 239 people from its banking subsidiary, 44 workers from its broker-dealer unit, and 3 from its technology unit. Citigroup has been going through an overhaul. Earlier this year, it said it will reduce its workforce by 20,000 over the next 2 years. US gaming firm Electronic Arts is laying off 670 employees. This represents about 5% of the firm's total workforce. The layoffs are part of the firm's restructuring plan. Electronic Arts has also announced a reduction in office space. The firm is also ending work on some of its video games. India has approved the construction of 3 semiconductor plants. Firms including the Tata Group and CG Power have proposed building chip facilities at a cost of over $15 billion. As per the proposal, the Tata Group will set up a semiconductor fabrication unit in the Indian state of Gujarat. The other 2 facilities will work on chip assembly, testing and packaging. The Indian government has said that the units will directly employ over 26,000 people. Facebook owner Meta Platforms will stop paying Australian news publishers for their content. The company has said that it will remove the News tab feature from Facebook in Australia by April 2024. Meta's decision will end a key revenue source for Australian media outlets. Facebook started paying news publishers in 2021. This was after a new law forced social media firms to compensate publishers for the news appearing on their platforms. Moving to sports, let's start with cricket. Cameron Green and Josh Hazlewood entered the record books for the highest 10th wicket partnership by Australians when playing against New Zealand. The pair put up a total of 116 runs together during the ongoing test match. The previous record was held by Jason Gillespie and Glenn McGrath, who scored 114 runs against the Black Caps in 2004. Green and Hazlewood's batting took Australia to a total of 383 runs in the first innings. Indian pacer Mohammad Siraj took to social media to spread awareness about the upcoming election. Siraj urged fellow Indians and first-timers to cast their votes in the general elections. The pacer also said that India's democracy should be celebrated during polling season. In football, Athletic Bilbao beat Atletico Madrid 3-0 in the Spanish Cup semi-final last night. Brothers Inaki and Nico Williams scored for Bilbao in the first half. In the 61st minute, Gorka Guruzeta scored the 3rd goal to extend Bilbao's lead. With the win, Athletic Bilbao are through to the Copa del Rey final, where they face RCD Mallorca. France and Juventus midfielder Paul Pogba has been banned for the next 4 years. Pogba was found guilty of doping by Italy's National Anti-Doping Agency. Juventus have been notified of the suspension and will decide on the next steps regarding Pogba. Spain's women's football squad met their Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez yesterday. The team represented the Nations League presented the Nations League title to Sanchez after their 2-0 win over France on Wednesday. Aitana Bonmati and Jenny Hermoso were also present for the celebration. Spain's Prime Minister wished the team well for the upcoming Paris Olympics. World number 4 Daniil Medvedev has advanced to the Dubai Open semi-final. Russia's Medvedev beat Spain's Alejandro Fokina 6-2, 6-3 in straight sets. The match lasted 1 hour and 29 minutes. Medvedev next plays Hugo Humbert of France in the next round. In badminton, the Indian women's duo of Trisa Jolly and Gayatri Gopichand advanced to the German Open quarter-final. The Indian duo beat Sona Horinkova and Katerina Zuzakova of the Czech Republic 21-10, 21-11. The match lasted barely 28 minutes. Jolly and Gopichand next faced China's Li Yijing and Lu Shumin. French President Emmanuel Macron inaugurated the Athletes' Village for the Paris Olympics. The 52-hectare village will accommodate over 14,000 athletes and their staff. After the Paris Games, the village will be transformed into an eco-friendly neighborhood that will house 6,000 residents. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron has promised to take a swim in the Seine River. This comes after several questions were raised over the river's water quality and cleanliness. Macron also said that the Paris city officials were working hard to clean the water body and deserved due credit. Saudi Arabia hosted their first ever skiing competition yesterday. 8 freestyle skiers performed tricks and stunts on more than 500 tons of artificial snow. Saudi officials say that the tournament helped them prepare for the 2029 Winter Olympics that the kingdom will be hosting. In entertainment news, this year's Oscars ceremony will see the comeback of the Field of Dreams format. The 15-year-old format is used for the acting award categories, in which the past winners of the categories present the nominees of the current year. The group then announces the winners together. The coveted Oscars is scheduled to take place on the 10th of March. Pop superstar Rihanna has arrived in India to perform at the pre-wedding festivities of Indian billionaire Anant Ambani and Radhika Merchant. A video of the large cases of her luggage also went viral on social media. According to reports, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg and Disney CEO Bob Iger will be in attendance as well. The wedding ceremony is scheduled to take place in July. Shakira is all set to release her new album on the 22nd of March. Weeks before the release, she has unveiled the lineup of her 16-song-long album. She has collaborated with rapper Cardi B for one of her opening tracks, while one of the tracks is only for vinyl configurations. Singer Justin Timberlake will reunite with NSYNC for his upcoming song. During the announcement of his new album, he hinted that one of the songs would feature his former band. The group might be seen in the song Paradise. Timberlake's new album will release on the 15th of March. Singer and rapper Lizzo says that she never received an invite for a cameo for Jennifer Lopez's new documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told. She said nobody asked her and the truth hurts. This comes after a video went viral on social media of J-Lo's team saying that Lizzo is unavailable to participate. Dwayne Johnson has secured the ownership rights to about 25 names and catchphrases. The list includes names like Jabroni and Rock Nation. These nicknames, insults and catchphrases were widely used during his time in the ring in the 90s. Last month, he announced the ownership of his ring name, The Rock. Alchemy of Souls actor Lee Jae-wook will reportedly start his own agency. His contract with his current 3-year-old management company will end soon. The management declined to comment about this development. The actor will enter the club of several South Korean actors who decided to venture into entrepreneurship. James Gunn, the CEO of DC Studios, has changed the title of the upcoming Superman Legacy film. The film, which earlier had the word Legacy in it, will now be called just Superman. Gunn said that when he reached the stage of finalizing the draft, he decided to go with this new title. He also shared a glimpse of the Superman suit, which had snowflakes over it, hinting at that the new film might have a snowy backdrop. The Indian film Drishyam will now be adapted by Hollywood. The super-hit crime thriller will be helmed by Gulfstream Pictures and Jyote Films. The international remake rights have been acquired from the original producers, Panorama Studios. The film had earlier been adapted by South Korea and China. The movie was first released in 2013 in the Malayalam language. Oprah Winfrey has decided to leave the board of the Weight Watchers. The Weight Watchers is a weight loss program that calculates an individual's personal nutritional need. This comes after she admitted that she used weight loss drugs to maintain herself. To eliminate the conflict created by her actions, she has also decided to donate all her shares in the company.